sitting in some cafe, a defector from the petty wars that shall shut love away. There's comfort in melancholy when there's no need to explain. It's just as natural as the weather in this moody sky today. In our possessive coupling, so much could not be expressed. So now I am returning to myself. These things that you and I suppressed, I see something of myself in everyone, just at this moment of the world. The snow gathers like bolts of lace, waltzing on a ballroom girl. You know it never has been easy, whether you do or you do not resign, whether you travel the breadth of extremities or stick to some straighter line. Now here's a man and a woman sitting on a rock. They're either gonna thaw out or freeze. Listen, strains of Benny Goodman coming through the snow and the pinewood trees. I'm porous with travel fever, but you know I'm so glad to be on my own. Still somehow the slightest touch of a stranger can set up trembling in my bones. I know no one's gonna show me everything. We all come and go unknown, each so deep and superficial, between the forceps and the stone. Well, I looked at the granite markers, those tributes to finality, to eternity, and then I looked at myself here, chicken scratching for my immortality. In the church they light the candles, and the wax rolls down like tears. There is the hope and the hopelessness I've witnessed 30 years. We're only particles of change, I know, orbiting around the sun. But how can I have that point of view when I'm always bound and tied to someone? White flags of winter chimneys wave truce against the moon in the mirrors of a modern bank, from the window of a hotel room. I'm traveling in some vehicle could. I'm sitting in some cafe, a defector from the petty wars, until love sucks me back that way.
Welcome, everyone, to the memorial service for Paul Lynch, Venerable Wonji Dharma-Paul. You know, during all of our ceremonies, as all of you know, Venerable Wonji would always roll his eyes whenever somebody pulled out a scripted speech, and he would say, "Wrap it up," if it went more than a few minutes. I'll do my best to keep to that today. That said, I did jot down a few notes, help me stay focused. Of course, there's no way I can encapsulate this man's life in a few minutes. I know each and every one of you would have many stories to tell, and I hope you'll post them on the memorial website. And there'll be a group Zoom meeting after this service for anyone who would like to share their stories with us. I first met Venerable Wonji at a small retreat. And as all of you know, his eyes could be piercing and his manner fierce as he would ask the koan questions and demand an answer. But at the end of the retreat, he sort of leaned forward with a twinkle in his eye and a smile and said, "Is this what you were looking for? Are you having fun? Are you enjoying this?" You know, in our weekly meetings, he would share fascinating scholarship discoveries about the history of our tradition. Or we would blow my mind open, amazing experiences. Or he'd share a sad YouTube video and just sob with his whole being at the sadness of the human condition. His heart was wide open. Venerable Wanji's goal was always to help people wake up, not to bog them down with unnecessary ritual. I had the privilege of sitting with him through many of the koan interviews that he would do with his students. And with each person, he adapted his approach in order to do what would help them the most. There were many times when people brought up situations that I deal with as a psychologist, but rather than trying to be a therapist to these students, I was always amazed how he helped them wake up to the truth of their situation. I remember in particular a woman who had just lost her daughter, and Venerable Wanji shared his own stories, his own tears, and at one point he pulled out a copy of Suzuki's Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, and he had her read the following. I think it's worth taking a moment to read this passage. I went to Yosemite National Park and I saw huge waterfalls. The highest one there is 1,340 feet high. And from it, the water comes down like a curtain thrown from the top of the mountain. It does not seem to come down swiftly as you might expect. It seems to come down very slowly because of the distance. And the water does not come down as one stream, but is separated into many tiny streams. From a distance, it looks like a curtain. And I thought it must be a very difficult experience for each drop of water to come down from the top of such a high mountain. It takes time, a long time, for the water finally to reach the bottom of the waterfall. And it seems to me that our human life may be like this. We have many difficult experiences in our life, but at the same time, I thought the water was not originally separated, but was one whole river. Only when it is separated does it have some difficulty in falling. It is as if the water does not have any feeling when it is one whole river. Only when separated into many drops can it begin to have or to express some feeling. When we see one whole river, we do not feel the living activity of the water, but when we dip a part of the water into a dipper, we experience some feeling of the water, and we also feel the value of the person who uses the water. Feeling ourselves in the water in this way, we cannot use it in just a material way. It is a living thing. Before we were born, we had no feeling. We were one with the universe. This is called mind only, or essence of mind, or big mind. After we are separated by birth from this oneness, as the water falling from the waterfall is separated by the wind and rocks, then we have feeling. You have difficulty because you have feeling. You attach to the feeling you have without knowing just how this kind of feeling is created. When you do not realize that you are one with the river or one with the universe, you have fear. Whether it is separated into drops or not, water is water. Our life and death are the same thing. When we realize this fact, we have no fear of death anymore. We have no actual difficulty in our life. When the water returns to its original oneness with the river, it no longer has any individual feeling to it. It resumes its own nature and finds composure. How very glad the water must be to come back to the original river. If this is so, what feeling will we have when we die? I think we are like the water in the dipper. We will have composure then, perfect composure. It may be too perfect for us just now because we are so much attached to our own feeling, to our individual existence. For us just now, we have some fear of death, but after we resume our true original nature, there is nirvana. That is why we say to attain nirvana is to pass away. To pass away is not a very adequate expression. Perhaps to pass on or to go on or to join would be better. Will you try to find some better expression for death? When you find it, you will have quite a new interpretation of your life. It will be like my experience when I saw the water in the big waterfall. Imagine it was 1,340 340 feet high. Venerable Wonji also liked to share a teaching from Thich Nhat Hanh, another great teacher who recently passed away. You see the child's smile in the cloud? And the students would stare at the cloud, trying to see this child's smile. The cloud produces rain, which grows crops, which is fed to the cows, which produces milk, which is taken by the farmer to the ice cream factory where they produce ice cream, take it to the ice cream store, serve it to a child, and the child smiles. Venerable Wonji was, of course, human, and he had his share of human flaws, but in the Kong'an exchanges, channeled all of the Zen ancestors. He was truly awake and helped many of us to wake up as well. His mantras echo in our minds: never give up, never surrender, and all is good. Of course, all of this leads to, what is this? Don't know, or just this? And how may I help you? It has been 49 days since our friend, teacher, brother, father passed away. This ceremony is traditionally given to help lost spirits find their way, but Venerable Wonji realized that there is no birth and death. So we perform this ceremony for those of us left behind. At the end of every retreat, as you all know, Venerable Wonji would ask each one of his students, what have you attained? I ask you now, great teacher, you lived a life of 65 years, producing a successful son, running businesses, traveling the world, to study with Zen teachers, creating the 5 Mountain Zen Order and Buddha Dharma University, influencing the lives of hundreds of people. What have you attained? In each one of your faces, I see Venerable Wonji's smile, and our hearts are heavy with sadness. I will miss you, my friend.
Ji Jang Bo Sao, 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 Yoga Chanda Karani, Om Baramani Dani Sabaha, Om Baramani Dani Sabaha, Om Baramani Dani Sabaha, Wansam Ji Jang Jinano, Mamuka Sabadara Sadaya, Shibe Hom Om Mamuka Sabadara Sadaya, Shibe Hom Mamuka Sabadara Sadaya, Shibe Hom, So Jay Geungsahn Dharani, Nam Samandam Mutanam Avarajihada Sadanam Danyata Om Kaka Kai Kai Hum Avara Avara Bara 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 Jita Jita Jiri Jiri Pada Pada Sanjiga Shiri Savaha Nam Samandam Mutanam Avarajihada Sadanam Danyata Om Kaka Kai Kai Hum Avara Avara Bara 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 Jita Jita Jiri Jiri Pada Pada Sanjiga Shiri Savaha Nam Samanda Mutana Avara 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 Bara Sadam Danyata Om Kaka Kai Kai Hum Avara Avara Bara 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 Jita Jita Jiri Jiri Pada Pada Sanjiga Shiri Sabaha Ogo Jano Horo Horo Yananga Suji, Dehi Jungsu Kaunjin, Hogang Gairang Gunghage, Murang Jinso, Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Namo Mahasamapapa Bodhisattva. Namo Kitsigarga Bodhisattva. Homage to Amitabha, the Buddha of infinite time and infinite space. Homage to Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva and Mahastama-prapta Bodhisattva, the great attending Bodhisattvas. Homage to Kishtigarbha Bodhisattva, who guides the deceased.
In this world of impermanence, we offer this ceremony to the most venerable Dr. Wonji Dharma-Paul Lynch. Further, we make Dharma offerings to all spirits, those above and below, those who have found rest and those who are still wandering, also for all tormented spirits and all beings in the hell realms. The nature of the original mind is still and clear. Original mind has no past or present. Round and bright, it has no birth and death. And Magadha Shakyamuni closed the door and sat inside. Bodhidharma sat facing the wall in a cave of Wuru Peak and Songshan. In Kushinagar, Buddha stuck his 2 feet through the coffin during his funeral ceremony. 3 years after his death, Bodhidharma was seen carrying 1 shoe over at the Pamir Mountains. All of you gathered here today, do you know the one pure and clear thing? Looking above and below, it is always still. Seeing and hearing, it is clear and plain. One who attains this can put an end to futile craving. If you are not able to attain this, please attend to this ceremony through the power of the Buddha. Accept these Dharma offerings and gain the insight that there is no life or death. Where the light of compassion shines, the lotus flower blooms. Seeing with the eye of wisdom, hell disappears. Chanting the great mystic Compassion Dharani, all beings become Buddha in an instant. If you wish to thoroughly understand all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future, then you should view the nature of the universe as being created by mind alone.
Om Garajya Sava. Om Garajya Sava. Om Garajya Sava. Om Samdara Yadak Sava. Om Samdara Garyak Sava. Om Samdara Garyak Sava. Namo Bobo Choli Kali Dali Tata Daya. Namo Bobo Choli Kali Dali Tata Daya. Namo Bobo Choli Kali Dali Tata Daya. We now receive the Buddha, who is present in all 10 directions. We now receive the Dharma, which is present in all 10 directions. We now receive the Sangha, which is present in all 10 directions. Homage to Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of great compassion and sympathy, who saves all from distress. Homage to the great wide Buddha of the Avatamsaka Sutra.
With deep sincerity, we offer an invitation to all beings. Please come and listen. True nature is before thinking. The Dharmakaya has no form. Conditions and relationships appear and disappear like reflections in a mirror. The effects of karma arise and decline like a water bucket rising and falling in a well. We cannot understand this miraculously changing mind. When this illusion occurs, what can you do? We now sincerely invite the most venerable Dr. Wonji Dharma-Paul Lynch to come before this altar, guided by the great Buddha's noble light.
Coming empty-handed, going empty-handed, that is human. When you are born, where do you come from? When you die, where do you go? Life is like a floating cloud which appears. Death is like a floating cloud which disappears. The floating cloud itself originally does not exist. Life and death, coming and going, are also like that. But there is one thing which always remains clear. It is pure and clear, not depending on life and death. Then what is this one pure and clear thing? With a pure heart, I offer as an invitation in prayer for the most venerable Dr. Wonji Dharma-Paul Lynch. I also offer an invitation in prayer for all our ancestors from numberless past lives and our teachers, all spirits above and below, and all deceased beings. May they be guided by the Buddha's great noble light. A refreshing tea grows on a high mountain. In a stone pot, Zen Master Joju boiled this tea in the water of Mind's river and offered it to 1,000 people. Please come and drink this tea. If you suffer in the painful realms, listen so that the fire of karma may be extinguished and that you may be freed from suffering. May all beings realize awakening. All forms are empty. One sees all forms as non-form, just like this is Buddha. All things that have a tangible characteristics are delusion. If you see that all aspects are not tangible aspects, then you will see your true self. All phenomena from their very origin always have the aspects of stillness and extinction. When disciples of the Buddha walk this path, they will become Buddhas in future lives. All formations are impermanent. This is the law of appearing and disappearing. When appearing and disappearing disappear, then this emptiness is bliss.
The four elements disperse as in a dream. The 6 dusts, 6 roots, and consciousness are originally emptiness. To understand that, the Buddha and the eminent teachers return to the place of light. The sun is setting over the western mountains. The moon is rising in the east. Homage to the Western Pure Land, a world of utmost bliss. The Buddha's body is long and wide, and its golden color shines brightly, pervading the whole universe. Great love and great sadness are our original teacher. Homage to Amitabha, the Buddha of infinite time and infinite space.
Namo Amitabha Buddha. 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 May all the merit accumulated through this ceremony be conveyed to all beings. May we in this life find nirvana, realize infinite life, and together all become Buddha.
Today at this outer gate, we send off the most venerable Dr. Wonji Dharma-Paul Lynch. As is traditional, we have read sutras and chanted with sincere hearts. By virtue of this, we have become free of undesirable influences.
Om Birogi Jai Sava. 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 Om Mani Dani Hum Batak Savaha. Om Mani Dani Hum Batak Savaha. Om Mani Dani Hum Batak Savaha. Sentient beings are numberless, we vow to save them all. Delusions are endless, we vow to cut through them all. The teachings are infinite, we vow to learn them all. The Buddha way is inconceivable, we vow to realize it.
You know, it's funny, as we were going through this, I kept expecting to hear Wanji's voice say, "No, do that again," or, you know, we'd stumble, start over, and he will be missed. Thank you so much for joining us in chanting for the most venerable Dr. Wonji Dharma-Paul Lynch. If you haven't already, please visit the memorial page dedicated to Dr. Venerable Wonji, and share memories and share photos. It's forevermiss.com/Wonji-Dharma. And for those of you attending live, there will be a live Zoom meeting coming up where you're welcome to share your own stories. Thank you all so much for coming.